When it's done well, hack and slash gameplay is some of my favorite, and I just got done doing some in the new game Remilore. But is Remilore a remedy for a bad time, or should this one just be lost to ancient lore? Remilore, Lost Girl in the Lands of Lore is a top-down perspective hack-and-slash roguelite, featuring a story mode, 2 playable characters, some unlockable costumes, and then a few different ways to play once you complete the game for the first time. Each area of Remilore is broken up into 4 areas, with the 4th area being a boss encounter. The other 3 are broken up into several segments that are randomly generated. Each area or floor has several monster dens that you'll enter and have to defeat every monster in there. There's also a mid-boss on each one of the floors that you'll have to deal with. Since the floors are randomly generated, the enemy placements and even the mid-boss will change up a bit, though you'll see a lot of the same setups as you go through and if you end up dying a couple of times. Thankfully, the game's not as punishing as some roguelikes. If you do die, you'll start back at the beginning of an area instead of the beginning of the game. So if you do make it to area 2, 3, or 4, you thankfully get to start back there once you end up dying during it. As you defeat enemies and break down the environment, you'll gain food items that are converted into points that you can spend on various categories like increasing weapon mastery or the efficiency of potions. Combat is far from complex, but it is enjoyable. You have 2 different buttons for your attack that you can mix and match for all sorts of different combos, as well as being able to dodge out of the way of enemy attacks. I had a lot of fun being able to build up big combos, dodge in and out of enemy attacks. Both mid-bosses and the bosses memorizing their patterns was at least somewhat fun and rewarding for once I completed the battles. There's 200 or so weapons in the game, broken up into several categories, like one-handed swords, two-handed swords, and giant hammers. There was a lot of creativeness with the weapons, so it made it pretty fun to actually go around and collect all of them and see what the game had to offer. Things like frying pans, spatulas, baseball bats, and even a giant chocolate banana. While I think the visuals were perfectly fine, there was a little bit of lack of variety as far as enemy types. While the bosses were all really nicely designed, including the mid-bosses, the regular enemies you saw a lot of the same style or very similar styles of enemies. One of the only downsides to Remilore is it's pretty short. It only took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to beat it the first time around. Thankfully though, once you beat the game, you do unlock those other gameplay modifiers like increased difficulty. There's 2 other difficulties, there's permadeath, and a few other things to at least give you some incentive to replay, plus collecting all of the weapons if you like to do that. Honestly, one of the cooler aspects about the game is the fact that you do have the local co-op that you can do with a friend, which really adds some extra playability. From the technical side of things though, the game ran fine. I didn't run into problems as far as glitching or crashing. Remilore is available on PS4, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Xbox One, and it does feature a Platinum Trophy. Overall, I really enjoyed the gameplay in Remilore. It's something I can see myself coming back to spend a couple of hours with every now and again. I do wish there was some more variety to enemy types and the game was longer, but the action was enjoyable enough to keep me playing. You just may want to wait for a sale on this one. With everything said, I'm going to be giving the game a 7 out of 10. That's going to wrap up this review though. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.